Welcome to your next step up the self-publishing mountain.
I'm Matilda Swift, author of quintessentially British cozy mysteries.
And I'm Samantha Cummings, author of young adult books about magic, myths and monsters.
I've written the books,
Changed their covers,
tweaked their blurbs,
tried tools from a dozen ads courses.
and I'm still not seeing success.
Now, we're working together to plot and plan our way from barely making ends meet to pulling in a living wage.
Join us on our journey where we'll be mastering the pen to snag that paycheck.
Hello and welcome to Pen to Paycheck Authors Podcast. I'm Samantha Cummings, here with my co-host Matilda Swift, and we're here to write our way to financial success. We're two indie authors with over 24 books between us and still a long way to go towards the quit the day job dream. If that sounds familiar, listen along for our mastery through Missteps journey. Each week we cover a topic to help along the way. This week we're talking about asking for help, but first, what are your wins and whinges of the week?
I am so glad you asked because I am now the podcast's favourite child, and it's my turn to say yet again. It was Mastermind Day today. It was so good. Yeah, and it's extra good because I get to talk about it. So that was my most enjoyable thing about Mastermind Day. No, it was such a good session. We both went into it really just feeling like a bit beaten up.
Yeah.
A bit just like, oh, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know why I'm doing this. I just feel like I'm terrible at everything. Yeah, let's just quit and just meet for sushi and not talk about writing. And then by the end of it, we were like, okay, here's our plan for world domination. Here's what we're going to do. Here's how we're going to make the money to do it. Here's when we're going to schedule and do it. Like, what a turnaround. And I would never have done that by myself. And I don't understand how we did that. It was just excellent. The sushi is magical. The sushi is part of it, I think.
It is a magic sushi.
Because it's like, yeah, the place we go has like enormous sushi. So it's like, it's almost like a sensory challenge. It takes you out of the real world. And imagine if we lived in a world where sushi was like 10 times the size of sushi. Like, wow, okay, I'm in a new realm where anything's possible. So we had gigantic sushi, and then we went to a cafe where, even bigger win, I did notice when we sat down. When we sat down, we were just chatting, and then I think when you were up getting coffee, a man sat down next to us, and he asked one of the staff members there. He was saying like, "Oh, I think he even said he's a poet. It's like, I'm a poet, and
I was there when he was asking questions, and I didn't know what was going on. Yeah.
And he's a relatively elderly man. Was saying like, I'm a poet, and I'm done performances, and I want to talk to someone about arranging a performance here. I've just written my first novel, and I inwardly eye rolled. I was like, you've written your first novel, and you want to have a performance?
We were both we must have been having a conversation, but we also both were listening to this man talking.
As we're about to leave, so you went to the bathroom at this point, and as we're about to leave, I saw him packing up, and he, on his charger for his laptop, he'd got a name. There's like an incredibly distinctive name, and it had like a studio number on it, and I was like, and it only had a surname on it, but I was like, that surname and studio makes me think of somebody from my like childhood who was a very famous radio performer, like told like radio plays. And I've seen him perform live a couple of times, and he's phenomenal. He's like a real local person. So like he wrote very, very locally based stories, but they were like beloved. And every Christmas we would get a new one on tape. Like I sound like I'm from the past. We've got like a new compilation on tape. And in my family, all of our in-jokes are jokes from these radio plays. And he did them for years and years and years. He still makes them. And he goes on live tours still. And so he's got such a distinctive name, and he was just there. And then when I looked at him properly, I was like, oh, that's who you are. I've seen you live a number of times. And so I asked him, I took a chance, like, oh, are you so-and-so? And he's like, yeah. And he was just such a lovely person. Like, of course you should be speaking here. You should be speaking everywhere. When he's talking about, he's got a new novel coming. He's going to promote it later in the year. And it was just so lovely. So I really felt like after my previous last week of like compounded horribleness, like the world was like, okay, compounded wonder today. And I just feel like everything is going my way. I'm untouchable. I will win everything. It's great.
Yes, because I came back and you were talking to this man. I thought, oh God, like not oh God, God, gosh, I'll talk to anyone. I thought he asked you a question about something, because he probably heard that we were talking about writing, and then I wasn't sure, like, should I get involved in this or should I try and get us out of it? But then you asked me to take a picture of you two together. I thought, okay, I just don't understand what's going on, so yeah, I'll take a picture. Like, this must mean
You look like an
something to you.
incredibly unassuming small old man. Like
Yeah.
he's just a very ordinary person, but he's lovely.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it was great. And
He's
I
so
took a
nice.
picture and I sent to my family because my family all love him. So I sent to the family and said like, "Oh, look who I met today." And my brother's first question instantly back was like an inside joke about his radio play. So it's like that's how much everyone in my family loves him. It's wonderful.
Yeah, it's really sweet, and it's just that place that we go to is. It feels like that magic could happen every time you go, and it's
Yeah.
not always like that. Like, it's quite a quiet place at most of the time, but it also feels like something
Anyone could be there.
something could happen.
If I was
Like,
ever going to see Keanu
whenever.
Reeves at Manchester, that would be the place he would
It
be.
would be there.
He'd be
Yes,
just sat there having a coffee. Yeah.
he would be, and it would be. He'd look at me, and we'd leave together for sure. My one true
We were
love.
talking about Keanu Reeves earlier. It's not just randomly
Yeah.
I'm looking for
Yeah.
Keanu Keanu, but
He's
like
bring
it is that sort of
Keanu Reeves
place.
up in everything. Even like Nicolas Cage. Nicolas Cage would go there.
Yeah, oh yeah,
As
he'd
we
be
all
there.
know, Nicolas
Yeah.
Cage, my other one true love. Yeah, he like that's where they would go. That's the only place that these people would go.
Yeah. So I feel like I've absolutely won this week.
Yeah.
Can't remember the rest of the week. Wins and whinges, yeah, probably loads of wins, but this week is like today is really blown it all out of the water.
Oh God, I don't even know. Like, I have no idea what happened this week. I have blinked and it's the weekend again. I know win-wise, I've done some good writing, like not a lot. I could whinge about it, but the writing that I have done has been great. I went to my writing group this week, right? That was this
Yeah.
week. Yeah.
I saw a picture of media of it, yeah.
Yes, thank you. And that's something that this week has just been insane. So I went to my writing group and I started writing a fun side project that I'm just doing for myself. And I wrote over like 2,000 and something words, and everyone at the table was just like gobsmacked. Everyone commented on the fact that I typed really fast, and they couldn't believe. Every time they looked at me, my hands are just like. Yeah, apparently I typed really fast, and I was really into it. So that was fun because it just made me realize that I need to spend more time on fun projects as well as like official publishing stuff, which I've kind of let myself get a bit lost in recently. My whinge of the week is that my dog had to go to the vet. That was also this week. Again, it feels insane. Because she decided to once again eat a peach stone. And unfortunately, the stones of most fruits are poisonous to animals because they have got cyanide in them. And she's
They're also poisonous to us. They're poisonous just generally full stop.
like also humans don't eat those either.
Yeah.
They are cyanide. And Juno just swallows them whole. And she's really sneaky about it as well. Like, she's like so
They're
silent.
so sharp. I can't imagine trying to swallow one.
It was wrapped in tissue, so it probably helped it go down. So yeah, she's just
so
a little beast, and she waited. Like, my colleague at work had left it on her desk, thinking that it was far enough away from the edge. But Juno is like a giraffe. She can stretch that little neck out really far. So she'd waited till we were both away from the desk, and I was making coffee, so I was making a lot of noise that would cover up. She's just a little like ninja dog. And then by the time I walked around the corner, I could see tissue is in her mouth, and then. Yeah, 160 or something pounds later, it was all sorted.
Which
but
I would expect to cost more. So like at least it's not.
It's not bad. It's not a bad cost. And I'm very lucky. This is like very boring pet talk, but my vet is very close to where I work / live as well. It's at the end of my road, and they were literally like, "Yeah, come in now. Like, see you in 5 minutes." Yeah. And they just let me sit on the floor of the vet's room because there was no one else coming in for a few hours. They're like, "You just sit here and see what like."
Do they need more business? Are they?
I know. They're usually like packed. It was like the universe is like, we'll just give you the room. I'm now a pro at getting my dog to throw up into a bag. That's a skill.
That's probably going to come in useful at some point. Maybe this is why you've
I think so, because every single time the vet's really impressed. Like, thank you. I am great at this. But the good, like, I'm going to say the win that came from that is that I didn't panic, and I was just like, I just said to my boss, I'll be back in an hour. See you later. And he's like, yeah, okay. See you. Good luck. So I'm very lucky
Yeah.
to have that kind of environment where I can just leave work for an hour to go to the
Yeah.
I don't make up the time. No one cares. It's just I
Yeah.
just come back when I can. And there was like no need for panic, and I have the money to pay for an emergency vet
Yeah.
visit. So
I do wonder what's coming down the pipe that both of us have been tested recently of like, can you
Mhm.
handle an emergency that
Yeah.
like is way out of bounds of what you would like to be handling in your life?
Yeah, like a complete you never thought this would happen again.
Yeah.
And then just
Yeah.
like can you react differently and better to it this time?
Yeah.
Yes, you can. Good job, good job.
Yeah. I felt very calm, and people commented afterwards, like when I was retelling the story about like that's weirdly calm to be like a pipe burst in my basement and knocked out all my electricity. Like
Hmm.
that's fixable. I'll deal with that.
Yeah.
And now I just feel like, yeah,
Hmm.
I think probably handle anything.
Yeah, I'm hoping that I've shown whoever is watching me
Mm,
that that was the final test I needed. That's it. Don't need
yeah.
another test. I
I
passed.
mean, I had my test last week, and I've been rewarded this week by
Yeah.
meeting like a childhood hero, like one of my favorite
Hmm.
writers from my childhood, and having a great mastermind day.
Maybe next week
So
I'll meet Keanu.
meet Keanu. Probably. Yeah,
But yeah,
I think highly likely.
yeah.
Um, and maybe today's topic will come in helpful. So today's topic sounds fun and easy, but it's about something that many people, including me, find very difficult. How do you feel about asking for help?
I am notoriously terrible for asking for help. My
Hmm.
whole family knows this. I never ask for help for anything.
Hmm.
And like I really feel like I have to do everything myself.
Mm.
And I'm sure that I can do everything myself, even though everything that I have to do often feels horrible. Just like the test this week, like everything feels like it's an emergency, and rather than like I didn't tell Brian about it until after it happened, because I was just like
Hmm.
I'll just do it, um yeah, I forever just take on a lot of responsibility and never tell people when that's too much.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
that's me. How are you for
Yeah.
asking
And
for
I,
help?
I feel such a visceral like refusal to it. Even when help is offered, like I'm like, no, no, I can do it. Like when
Mm-hmm.
my like pipe burst and I had to get a plumber in and then I had to get an electrician in. And it was like, who knows how much it's gonna cost? Like like a plumber came out the same day, came out within like a couple of hours. And the electrician came out the next day after I called him, like on a Sunday to Monday morning. Um and I was talking to my dad about it, and he was like, "Oh, how much do you think it's going to cost?" I was like, "I don't know. I'm, hoping not too much." He's like, "Oh, if it's more than 100 quid, let me know and I'll help you out." I was like, "No, no, it's fine. I'm fine." And like, and it will be fine. Right? I have a pot of money that I literally account for that's like about £600 towards house repairs because I live in a place where houses fall apart a bit. So it's like I've budgeted that into my savings, and it's a literal pot that I own. Um, Not a literal pot. Don't break into my house and steal it. It's a pot in my bank account. But for house repairs. But like it felt awful, the idea of somebody, which is ludicrous, right? And that's not healthy at all. So even someone offering help, because it suggests that I hadn't forethought that like my house might need repairs. It
Yeah.
suggests that I'm like an irresponsible person. But it's like I'm not. I'm so responsible. I've got this pot of money. Don't worry. I'm a good grown up. Um, and it's very contrasting. My brother, who's so good at asking for help. So
Mm-hmm.
like they're having their chimneys taken out of their house, like the chimney breast taken out of their house. Next week. I've had my chimney breasts like cleared. I've had them like exposed and cleaned out, and like I didn't ask anyone in my family for like help to like move furniture around to prep things for that at all. I didn't even consider it. And like had I
Yeah.
mentioned that, had there been jobs to do, like my family would have offered, but like I would never have even thought of it. When my brother's got that work coming in and messaging the family chat about like, oh, is anyone free these couple of days to come help us? Which is like healthy and normal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Um and so I don't like asking for it, I don't like being offered it in my real life, and that just extends to my self-publishing where
Yeah.
I can feel myself being incredibly like hunch my shoulders in, prickly when someone even asks a question or makes a suggestion that is like
Mm-hmm.
designed to be helpful, because I instantly take it as criticism that I've done something bad,
Mm-hmm.
and I really don't like that.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't take things like suggestions as criticism as more as I don't want people to know that I didn't know something,
Yeah.
or like hadn't thought of it before. So I kind of go, oh yeah, thanks. That's like, oh, that's really helpful. But then I don't really do anything with that information once I get it, because I think it seems like something else to add to a to-do list. So it's like, I don't like when people offer me help, because it feels like it's actually giving me more things to do. That's how I feel when people offer me help. I feel like they're just actually giving me a task to do. And
how does it feel differently? Because we've just had a long conversation about like a thing we're going to do together. There is more things on to-do list, but quite a long extra list of things. How does that feel different?
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. No, I'm just kidding. Actually, it's not so bad. Like, this is, I think, a trust thing or a close relationship thing. So you're probably like one of the only people in my life that I speak to this regularly. And so doing things with you and making decisions with you and plans with you is like only next to me doing those things with Brian. So it's like I feel comfortable.
Like we're in a little club.
Yes, and it's like comfortable and confident in like the things that we're doing, we'll do it well together. But when like other people offer help or something, it's kind of like having to extend that or open myself up to something else, or a commitment or obligation as well to somebody else. And that's maybe I'm having an epiphany that I don't like to commit myself to things and people and times and places, because it fills me with dread and anxiety. And that might be why I don't like asking for help or receiving help if somebody offers it to me, because it feels like I'm having to make some sort of commitment, some sort of like reciprocation in some way, whether it's like having to spend time with someone, have a conversation with someone outside of like my routine. And I'm so stuck in my routine that any infiltration, even if it's like somebody offering help, is actually like gonna like derail whatever I've been doing. I feel like this is really a therapy session.
Yeah, I think a lot of this, like, I think it's useful to try and disentangle the things that are like, we should go to therapy for this, right? Like, it's not very healthy to feel like an offer of help is a criticism. That is like a longer term issue. But how do we set it aside and decide, like, okay, I know that's unhealthy, so what do I do to get around it? And some of it might just be saying, like, oh, what you need to do if you're in the same position as us is have a very reciprocal relationship. Like, you and I, I will offer help, but it's always like we are helping each other on this project that we're talking about at the moment. So we just spent like an hour in a conversation about how we're going to do something that is like a lot of things on your to-do list, and it's a lot of like helping our business, but we're doing a project together where we're going to do equal work. And even when we need a tool, I said, if I pay for it, will you do all the work for it? Because it's like, I can't do all the work for it because I don't have the software. And that was just like very reciprocal. And I think both of us would feel uncomfortable if I'd said, oh, can you do this for me? Like, oh, can you do all the work? In fact, that would feel horrible.
Yeah, I think it is. It's like, I know a lot of people wouldn't mind asking for help for like all sorts of stuff, which is like healthy, and it's great to ask for help. And I always say that to other people in my life, like, ask me for help whenever you need it. But it definitely is tied into how much you trust other people, how willing you are to open yourself up to relationships with other people. I've always struggled with maintaining like good relationships with people. Not that I like fall out with anybody, I just struggle to maintain like good lasting relationships that have like constant communication. So accepting help from other people who I don't speak to regularly enough, it feels too transactional and doesn't feel like a nice thing. Whereas like you and I, we're both working towards the same thing. So we're like, because even like at work, I would ask colleagues for help because we're working on the same thing. So I would always ask for help from them.
Also, they're paid to help you. That's like, you're all paid for your time there.
Yeah, and I love making myself a nuisance, so. to them in particular. But yeah, I hate making myself a nuisance to people in my actual life.
Even at work, though, like if your car had been in the shop and Juno needed taken to the vet, like would you have asked someone at work, can you drive me to the vet? I would hate that. I don't like asking people for lifts because I don't have a
Um,
car, so I can't offer lifts in return.
yeah, I wouldn't have asked them. I probably would have asked my dad, but only because
Mm.
obviously it's my dad. and I have had to ask him that before when my car was broken and June had to have an operation. So I've already kind of been through that process, but I felt so bad about it. I
Mm.
felt and this is, I will never forget this because it was a really tough time anyway, because Juno had to be like have an operation, and then I had to go back and forth to the vets a lot, and my car was just like broken. And it was really just like a very tough emotional time, but also just like physically like looking after a dog who was like unwell, and then having to rely on my dad to pick me up, and it was such an imposition. Imposition, is that the right
Yeah.
word? Okay.
Yeah.
I just felt when I said it, I was like, I don't know if those letters were in the right place. And he was fine with it. He was like, yeah, don't worry about it. Like it's fine. But I felt like it was just the rudest thing for me to do was to ask him to drive me to and fro. And even like he was taking me to the shops to get a weekly shop, and I felt like a user.
Yeah.
And I've never forgotten. And
the shops will do that. They will bring it to you.
Yeah, I know. But I do love to go into a shop and do food shop, because that's my favourite place in the world.
Yeah.
And yeah, like that, even with my parents, I feel bad asking for any kind of help. And like they look after Juno every now and again, like if I go on holiday or even if I go to the cinema and she can't be on her own. The level of guilt that I feel for asking them for that is just awful.
Yeah. I think I'm the same. And then maybe that's like a reason why we work well together, is like we both have the same sensitivity to asking someone to experience imposition because of us. And that makes us very sensitive to like making sure things are quite fair between us, so that we would never feel that way by the other person. I mean, I'm not sure this is a very like extendable lesson for other people. Like if you're listening, probably this isn't the thing you suffer with.
Yeah.
But what I think is interesting is like I know a lot of authors who don't have a very close author friend, and they are really like by themselves in the author business. And I really feel like we're in that situation, it would be so slow to make progress. And I think I probably would have quit by now. Like really, without somebody to, like we met up today. Usually we meet up on mastermind days, one of us will be in a better mood than the other. And like we both can kind of like chip each other along, right? Like we're never usually both down in the dumps. Whereas today we're both down in the dumps.
Yeah.
And but
about
like
the same stuff as well.
Yeah.
we really timed it very well.
Yeah. But like because we've had like lots and lots of practice now, we can have a conversation over the course of a few hours. It like took us from being like I probably like logically I should quit. I probably should quit, to like I'm gonna succeed beyond a doubt.
Yeah.
Within a few hours. And I think, and we were saying like one of the difficulties with the business is like you only have a fixed amount of energy, and if you're spending quite a lot of that energy on like talking yourself into continuing and being like, no, my past sales history isn't a reflection on future opportunities, and like that review doesn't mean anything. Like if you're spending a lot of energy on anything to do with that, like whatever you're impacted by, that's energy you're not putting into your writing. And that's really, really hard. And because we have another person who we can be really open with, and I could message you if I was having a really bad day. I could message and be like, I think I should quit. And you'd be like, don't be ridiculous.
Yeah.
And I can send you like early drafts of stuff if I just feel like I feel really unsure if I'm on the right lines, and you can have a look and give feedback and stuff. And that feels like it makes all the difference. And I do feel like I'm not a person who likes asking for help, but finding a person who equally doesn't like asking for help.
Yeah, was cancelled
to be in like
it out.
a reciprocal relationship with. Means that I know the like without having to ask and without having to really worry about it, can like be very able to know the boundaries of like what feels good. Like, and I feel like I could ask you for a big favor, right? If I had to, I'd ask you a big favor because I would know that we would even it out at some point.
Yeah.
and that will be fine. But that comes from like a lot of experience. So I do feel like
Yeah.
this is a good conversation to have. Like, if anyone's listening who doesn't have a relationship with that, like I would say that would be my priority. Is if you're
Yes.
not a person who likes asking for help, like find somebody else who doesn't like asking for help
Mm-hmm.
and start like a reciprocal relationship with them as soon as you can, and like do things for
Yeah.
each other and just share knowledge.
Yeah, and
So that you
not
get to a point where the more help you need, the more you'll get.
yeah, not for the like. Don't start a relationship with someone just because you think you might need help in the future. Start a relationship with somebody because when you do need help, they will be
Mm,
invaluable, and
mm,
you will feel so much better having somebody who you're like, yeah, I completely trust this person with like the good and the bad.
yeah.
So everything feels easier. It's like I don't know. I like even my closest, oldest friends, I would never ask them
Mm,
for anything. Like,
mm,
you know, like I even felt bad asking like them to come to when we went to Alton Towers for my birthday, and I asked people if they wanted to come. I felt bad that it was like they'd have to get their kids looked after, or it was outside
mm,
of what a normal person might ask them to do for a birthday party or something.
mm.
Um, so
But like as someone attended, it was lovely and like
yeah, it
a
was
good
great.
excuse to go to Alton Towers.
Yeah,
And like, but you know, I can imagine in that position. Like it's a bit far
yeah.
away. It costs
Mhm.
money to go. And you're like, oh gosh, are people going to secretly hate me for
Mhm.
doing this? Or they're going to say no because it's an imposition? Like, is it too big an ask? I guess. Like, do I
Yeah.
have the currency for this ask? And
Mhm.
I think about that a lot with things. Like when I go to
Yeah.
London, I always stay with friends because I want to go to SBS because I'm not paying money to stay in London. I'm not contributing to London. No, I just it's unreasonably expensive for what you get, and also it's a nice chance to see my friends. And the two friends that I will stay with are people who like I don't get to see them very often, so it's like it's a great opportunity to see them, and that's lovely. And like I will bring a little something for them or their kid or something. Um, but I do always feel like I mean they're such close friends, like it feels like a tiny fraction of like a little moment thinking about that. I do always weigh up like, oh, do I have the currency for this ask?
Yeah.
Um, just to check. Like I'm not being an imposition, I'm not being rude by asking.
Mhm.
Um, how can I make this as nice as possible? Like, yeah, I don't like asking for help, but there's situations where, you know, like saying in London, like I have figured out ways to make it work. And I think maybe there's more we can be doing in our author lives to be asking for help.
Yes.
And I feel very fortunate that I write in cozy mystery and
Mhm.
everyone in the genre is incredibly nice. They were like pushing help on you. They were like, let's have a quick call. Like, how can I tell you information that will be useful to you? Like, literally, I've had people be like, can I just call you and explain what you need to do right now? And I
Yeah.
have regular calls with people who, um, like, are just incredibly generous with sharing knowledge and sharing motivation and just like being part of my author journey, which I think a lot of people in other genres probably don't get.
Mhm.
And I think I would never have asked for it at
Yeah.
all. But I'm so grateful that other people are much better at giving help than I am at asking for it.
Yeah.
But it definitely has that was like post this podcast.
Mhm.
And I think prior to the podcast, I might have found it hard to say yes or hard to, because I would have thought they
Yeah.
were being imposed on. I would have like maybe been like, oh yeah, let's have one quick call, like just five
Mhm.
minutes. But like now I have like weekly chats with people and I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, trying to accept that help. So like I'm always pushing at my boundary of how much help I can accept.
Yes, I do definitely like specifically with the podcast and the Discord that we've got. So we've got this community where like there's a lot of trust in there. Like I would trust
Mm,
anybody's opinion or any help offered from anybody in the Discord because like we've all gathered in this place with
mm,
the same goal in mind. Like we are all working towards the same thing. But I wouldn't I do ask for help in some ways, but I think that I'm probably not asking for the help I really need. I think I'm
mm,
asking for if I do ask for anything, it's the smallest part of something probably a lot
mm,
bigger. And I think that that's okay. Like I'm proud of myself for any question that I ask or any
mm,
help that I get. I'm like proud of myself for putting myself into that space. And I think that the people that we've got in Discord are always and forever fantastic and
mm,
have a lot of valuable information and experience. I feel like I don't even know myself what level of help I need because I'm so scared
mm,
or like so resistant to asking for it. That's kind of where I'm at the moment, is that I think that I do need more help, but I don't know where that help would go. Which is like a weird, like there's a wall up. I know that I'm not doing the best I can. Well, that's a silly thing to say. I'm doing the best I can with what I've got right now. I don't know what the next step is or what to ask to get there. Which is like a weird, and I think probably everyone goes through this when they're at the stage that we're at. So anyone else in Act 3, I bet, which obviously everybody plots their whole career and their progress as
divides
we are.
into narrative structure. Yeah.
But anybody else in Act 3 is probably at that same point where like you don't know which way you're supposed to turn to get the thing that you need. And I don't know. That's like a weird feeling to have, and that's where I'm at, is I don't know like who I am. What weapon I need to fight the monster.
What do you think has been like your biggest growth in asking for help in the past year or so?
I think, like, what have I asked for help for? Maybe like when we did critiquing of whether we were in the right genre. Which is tough because
quite basic.
Like it's tough. It's tough to look at something that you've just published and you can't, like, you've already opened the doors to the project, so there's like already people looking at it, and then to go and look at it and say, so did I get this right? And then be like, nah, I didn't. And I think that I'm like really proud of the fact that when we were talking about all that, and when we both said to each other like we didn't do it, it wasn't the end of the world. I just chalked it up to experience, and I thought, right, yeah, I can see that. And I think that if I'd have got,
but also think because we're both in the same thing, we could learn from it together. You could be like, I'll do it for you, and I can see what I'm looking for, and then if you're doing it for me, you can give me that knowledge result. And I think again that reciprocity felt useful.
Because I think if anybody else had come to me and said like, this, like, none of this matches up, everything is wrong, like you're in the wrong genres, if anybody else had said that,
horrible.
I would have been like, I don't understand why you've said this. These are your inside thoughts, not outside thoughts. Thank you.
And also, like, what am I supposed to do with that? Like, I think if that had come from someone, even someone really well-meaning, who had said, I think your book isn't in the right genre, its comps are X, Y, and Z, I've done all this work for you, I wanted to research it for you so you could market it better, you'd be like, well, that's not helpful. I
would have been inclined to say something like, oh I knew that, I just haven't got around to like doing the marketing with that. Like that's what, like, and I'm a terrible person for that. I'm a terrible person for somebody telling me something and me being like, I knew that. Like, that's one of my worst qualities, and I can honestly
you often
say
I haven't got around to it, and I feel like I've fallen for it.
No, but I would say, for when you ask me ththings, I don't think I would lie to you about things like that.
Okay, that's good.
I just really don't get around to things, like the post-its just grow and I don't do things. But for just for other things in general, if somebody were to say something about like a general knowledge sort of thing, I'd be like, oh yeah, and I'd be like, like sure, I knew that.
I mean, like, for ages I didn't have subtitles to my books. We talked about subtitles today. And I was like, I just have, I'll do it at some point. I haven't got around to it, but like, because I hadn't really given a chance to think about like, is it important, is it not? And I think if someone had come to me and said like, oh, you're doing it all wrong because you haven't got subtitles, I'd be like, what do you know? Like, my instinct would be to push back. And I think I need someone who can bring like a learning aspect to it. Like, both of us, if you talk about strengths, I've got like high learner. And we both talk about, we can't really learn something, like can't really trust something until we've done it and learned it.
Yeah, I need to learn the lesson the hard way, which my parents hate that about me.
Yes.
And they always have, like, just take our advice. No. I'm sorry. Like, even as a child, I was like that. Like, they would say, this is a mistake, whatever you're about to do or go or like whatever. I don't think this is, I think you should just like listen to our advice about, we've had this experience already. We know it's not going to be good. And I'd be like, I just need to do that for myself. My dad was constantly frustrated with me for being like, I'll just do it and then learn the lesson.
And then I'll know.
Then I'll know. Like, and he's like, no, that's not how life works. But that's how life works for me.
I also think like your parents are quite different to you. I would say like my family in a lot of ways are quite different to me. And I don't think I would trust that something that doesn't work for them wouldn't work for me.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, I'll just try it and see. Let's find out.
Yeah. Yeah. Refuse to accept that kind of somebody else's life experience. And I think that probably I do
it's also
have
why
for the book stuff, is that I think it's really hard to take somebody else's offered help or advice when I can't see myself in them. Like, I see myself in you because we have a very similar, even like we write different genres, we are in a very similar place in our lives, and we have chosen like kind of similar-ish paths, and I've had like the same kind of upbringing. So I can see myself in the decisions that you make and the suggestions that you make.
Yeah, have like the same rationale.
Yes, but for other people, it's I can't say if somebody has a husband who pays a lot of money, like looks after the house, or somebody else to share that kind of responsibility with, or even if somebody has children or anything. Is there anything that makes us different? I can't take a suggestion because I can't see how their life and their choices could possibly intersect with mine, which is ridiculous.
And I think
I
don't think it is ridiculous, actually, because I think that is often the case in self-publishing, that people don't tell the whole story. Like, obviously you can't necessarily tell your whole story, but like, I think a lot of people have got privileges that they don't disclose when talking about you have to do something. And this is not to criticize them, but I think they will say you have to do this thing, and then later on in the conversation reveal that, like, oh yeah, and of course I had tens of thousands of pounds of support put into by my husband. Like, okay, so you have to do this thing if you have this financial support.
Yeah.
And that's not even necessarily what they're saying, right? But like, it to me, it's a factor in a way that to them it's not a factor. They might perceive it as like, oh, I would have done it either way, but it's like, but
you can't know
see
that. Yes, and you can't say, like, I know like our lives are different, but I can imagine how this would work for you. It's like, well, I could imagine winning the lottery, but it doesn't make the reality any different. And like, I feel bad saying it because I appreciate anybody who tries to help me. Like, I appreciate anybody who offers help and who is supportive, but it doesn't always just translate to me. And like, even just like how my brain works, like everyone's brain works differently. And like, I understand how your brain works. I understand how my brain works. We have very different brains, but I know like the decisions you would make versus the decisions that I make. But other people don't know how my brain works, and it's mental up here. And the more I share of myself, even in like my regular life, like at work, I really, really try to be more myself than anything these days. Like, it's been I've had a long journey of trying to not hide my uniqueness, and like, I don't want to conform to what people expect me to be. And like, and I've always struggled with that, with like knowing who I am and how I fit in with other people. And even at work, like in my 9 to 5 this week, and I said something like something flippant about sitting next to a window. It was something really stupid. Like, I wanted to sit next to a window, and somebody else said, "Oh, like, but wouldn't you want to sit like in what we call like the aisle seat?" So we're like doing window and aisle. And then I said like, "Oh, if I was on a plane, I'd sit in the aisle, but I feel like my desk is more like a train, and I want to sit next to the window." And it makes sense to me. It's the office is more like a train than a plane. And that even just...
Also, you can escape through the window.
Yeah.
I'd be near the window.
Like, but that kind of like, that's how I rationalized where I wanted my seat to be. And everyone in the office was just like, that's a weird thing. Like, why? Like, they just thought it was weird, like a weird thing for me to say. And I'm like, that's just how my brain works. And even like the people that I spend a lot of time with don't always get me, which is a really, really long-winded way to say, like, even people I know very well don't get me. and
Yeah.
I'm still, and that's like a really big thing for me, and like in my life, is just trying to figure out how I fit into the world and what's right for me, and
Yeah.
not everyone else can help with that, even if they
Yeah,
wanted
and
to.
like I think it's
That's just a lot of word
you have to do a lot
salad,
of extra
but
work sometimes when you're getting help in order to like backtrack and filter it and like try and make sure it is applying. Because like say
Mhm,
somebody had been trying to like make the office plan, like if you didn't have a choice of what your seat was,
mhm.
because you're moving offices, if
Yeah.
someone made the office plan and they'd be like, oh, I know Sam's got a dog and the dog likes walks, so I want to put her near the door. That'll be helpful. And if they come in and you said like, oh, I don't want to sit there, they're like, oh no, this is the best seat for you because you've got a dog and you'll take the dog forward. Be like,
Mhm.
yeah, no, it's like a train. I want to sit by the window so I can enjoy the view and the dog will walk a little bit further. Like you're having to like extend some thought into like how they've thought about this and say like,
Yeah.
oh no, the dog actually isn't a factor. And this is obviously a trivial
Mhm.
like example,
Yeah.
but often I find like in self-publishing things, sometimes you can't figure out why someone suggests something. Like
Yeah.
they'll say something like you can't figure out that they meant, oh, because your dog can be near the door.
Mhm.
They'll say you should do this, you have to do this, and you're like, but I'm on a train. Like you're like, I can't conceive of why you might even think that. And
Yes.
like then you spend a lot of time
Yeah.
trying to gently explore like what they might have meant and why they might have said that, and then try and
Mhm.
figure out like, have I misunderstood something? Do they not
Uh,
understand that I think the office is like a train?
yeah.
And then because I think I'm very, like you, like sensitive to like non-reciprocal help,
Mhm.
that I'm also feel like I don't want to spend a lot of time like interrogating the help because I'm trying to be helpful. I don't want to make them feel like they're being awful and like criticize them or like judge what they're saying. So I can't ask that many
Yeah.
questions and then the help's not helpful.
Mhm.
And I do think I wonder if we can find a way to like put in some tools to help us get help in that situation because other
Yeah.
people, I think, and I do think I've got some very good author friends who I do feel like I can really push back on and I can ask really. I'm aware I'm quite sharp when I'm asking questions. That's how I understand things. And I
Mhm.
can ask quite sharp questions and will explain it to me. And that is very generous of them. And
Mhm.
I very much appreciate it. And I also know that like I make an effort in things that I think they find useful to be extra useful to try and compensate for that.
Mhm.
Um, but are there, aside from like having lots and lots of highly reciprocal relationships, which is exhausting, right? If we had
Mhm.
loads of these, um, we don't really have time for it. So are there other ways in which we can maybe put in some extra tools to ask for help in better
I think
ways?
my probably the thing that I need to do more of is when I'm asking for help with writing stuff and publishing, I need to give more context as to what I'm asking for
Mm,
and why, and maybe like not ask for like only give me this if you like also think this, but um make it like a more narrow question.
yeah.
So like I am only asking for something specific rather than saying, oh, I really want, like, this is a random example because it's like something that I did at like earlier in the year. I really want some character art, which is like the worst
Mhm.
question you can ask anybody, which I learned like don't ever put that on Threads. Never ask that question on Threads. But what I like, that kind of question, I really want some character art. Does anybody have any recommendations? Is way too broad, and it does not at all
Yeah.
suggest that is like the skimmed off the top of my brain question. But really, the question
Yeah.
is, I have £500 to spend. I
Hmm.
want like headshots of my characters, or I want one picture from a scene in the book, and I think I need to give people a better chance of giving me what
Mm,
I need
mm,
rather than asking something really broad and like wincing in like to see what people say. I think
yeah.
I think I need to translate better from my brain to
Yeah.
like to people. I think it's a me. I do think it's a completely a me thing. I think that um I don't give people the benefit or the opportunity to give me what I actually need. because I don't take the
I think
time
that
to
is a good way
ask.
of looking at it.
Yeah, I don't think I'm asking the right questions because I don't
Because then it feels
practice
like a
asking.
demand, right?
Yeah, like
If you,
and I don't practice the so I'm just having a wriggle in my chair.
yeah,
I don't practice asking questions. I don't like it's on me. I don't ask enough questions or ask for help enough that I know how to ask for help
mm,
in a like a good way. It's like saying I could go to, like, if you were using like an AI tool and you wanted to find you wanted to say, hey, Gemini or ChatGPT or Claude or whatever, just to name them all, just so we get dinged
yeah,
from this. Say them all. I'm looking to like write a recipe for like some like random Scandinavian dish. Can you give
hmm
me a recipe for it? That's the wrong, like that, and that is
hmm
a question, but it's not good enough, a not good enough question, because you would
hmm
get, this is like such a random like example, but you would just get like the stuff that you would get back wouldn't be helpful. You'd get an
yeah.
answer, but it wouldn't, like, you'd look at it and think, like, you'd have to ask more and more questions to try and narrow it down.
I do
That's not
think
a
actually talking to
benefit.
AI is good for that because AI always takes your questions literally and
Mm-hmm.
answers it like in with the worst possible thought. Like it doesn't know anything about you, so it's not adding any insight from your context. So if
Oh,
you say
Gemini
like
knows everything about me.
even like the stuff you've told it though, like it's never enough for it to like make an
Yes,
intelligent
yeah.
response. So if you said something like, "Oh, I want to run some Amazon ads for my books. What should I do?" Right? That's a really broad question you might ask
Mm-hmm.
someone thinking like, "I don't know where
Yeah.
to start. Like, what should I do?" It will give you an absolute nonsense answer that is like you should
Mm-hmm.
never ever do that, and it's just skimmed the top level, like most basic
Yeah.
scammery websites that it can find. And if you interrogate it and say, I don't recognize any of those website names, like, are those references to experts such as X, Y, and Z, who I know are experts in this subject, but like, well, you know, looking at actually, they're not trustworthy sources. They're trying to sell their services. I've
Mm-hmm.
looked now at X, Y, and Z resources. This is the kind of broad information. And then you drill down. And I do think I find that helpful is like figuring out how to phrase a question as a prompt for AI. Like knowing I'm
Yeah.
dealing with someone who has got no context of me
Mm-hmm.
and is finds the laziest answers, like how would I ask for a better question?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I
and
think
that I
that's
think,
something that I need to really work on for human beings.
yeah. Because I think that I really like conversations that are very like learning something, right? Like figuring something out, like questioning. So I think often when people ask me a question, I will ask a follow-up question to try and like contextualize and make sure I've understood exactly what they're asking. Um, and not everybody does that. So if I ask someone a question, they'll just answer that question like, "Oh no, I didn't mean that. I know that information. That's too
Yeah.
basic." Um, so yeah, and then I get frustrated and I'm annoyed. And I find it really hard when some people who are much better at asking for help than me don't like expect me to be as good at asking for help as they are, right? So if I ask a question and I said like, "Oh, I'm running this sort of Amazon ad. Do you know like I can't get any impressions on them. Do you know why?" And like their first one to be like, "Oh, you shouldn't run that sort of ad." And I'm like, "Well, obviously I
Mm.
am. So
Mhm.
I just won't talk to you anymore then because you clearly think I'm an idiot." And I find that really hard to deal with because our conversation to me feels like an argument. I'm just
Yeah.
like, well, you basically called me an idiot,
Hmm.
but I know you have the answer, so I don't want to talk to you anymore. But I know you've got the answer. Like, how much effort do I put into figuring this out?
Hmm.
Um, and I don't know how to get more resilient with that sort of conversation.
Yeah. So I've been talking to Ghost Boyfriend about this week actually, because you and he are very similar in that respect of
Mm,
um people kind of feeling confronted when people say particular things to you that push your
mm,
buttons.
yeah.
and and something that I kind of tell him, so I'll tell you, is that when somebody responds that way, in what you would think is and their initial response is something negative that makes
Mm,
you feel like, I guess I'm doing the wrong thing then, is that those people who respond this way, and you can take this like you like whether you want to like look this deeply into people or not, is that I always think that the people that respond that way in a negative way, it's that negativity is always really a them problem, because they have a problem with something, and they're making it, and they're looking at you and pointing at you and saying this is your problem. So you've done the wrong ad there. That's stupid. Why did you run that ad? That is something that they themselves have got a problem with for themselves. It's like an insecurity of their own that they're reflecting on you, and it's hard to know like why that would be. It's hard to understand why they would tell you it's the wrong ad. Like, you don't know how that relates back to them in some way. But it will always be a them problem. That's always an insecurity, because people who are actually helpful and nice and caring would never say something to bring you down. Because I know, like, personally, as somebody who always just wants to help people, I would never say something negative to somebody else. And I know, like, a load of people who never would. And whenever I come across somebody whose initial response is, well, why did you do it that way? Like, that's somebody who's got a problem with themselves, not you.
Yeah. Because I would only say that someone that, like, I don't care about their opinion and I don't care about hurting their feelings, right? Like, I'd say someone like I'm a nemesis, because he deserves that. But I probably wouldn't. I'd feel too bad. He's old, he's got a limp. But I in that position where I knew someone had done something that was wrong, right? Like, I know it's wrong. They should never run this sort of ad. I will be asking the question, because, like, I would assume they've got a reason why they thought that was a good idea, and I'd want to interrogate that and then guide it to the next thing. So I'd be like, oh, usually that's the sort of ad someone would run when their book's quite established. What, like, but I know you've not run ads on this before. So what's the thing that we're trying to achieve on this? And, like, how can we make it work?
Yeah.
And I would always try and assume that someone has got a good reason for doing something. And then if someone speaks to me in a way that suggests, like, they think I'm an idiot, I'm like, oh, they must really think nothing of me.
They definitely don't. Like, I have come across so many people like that, and as somebody who is very in tune with people, and, like, this is kind of maybe woo-woo, but I think I'm an excellent people reader, and I can tell when somebody's insecurities are what come out before anything else. And I think, like, I really do believe that people who are insecure or have a problem with themselves, that's always the first thing that they show to people. And so you can't take that personally. Because I know, like, from experience, when I've been helping people, like, a good example is, like, I think I was training somebody years and years ago, and we were setting up direct debits for people putting money into pensions. And they fell for this classic thing that everyone falls for. Everyone has to go through at least once, where you put the start date of the collection a year in the past, and you take 12 months of payments from them. It's a classic. Everybody does it. And I know so many people who would huff and puff if that happened to if someone they were training did that. They would be like, they'd make it into such a big problem. And as somebody who had done that already, when this happened to the person I was training, I said, don't worry, I'll fix it. And I specifically remember, like, the person's face being like, are you sure? Because it was an absolute pain. I was like, why would I make this your problem? Like, because I would never make my problem somebody else's. So, like, I feel like I get other people, because I myself would never make my problems somebody else's.
Yeah.
So if somebody's off with you, it's because they're off with themselves.
Yeah, I do always think about my nemesis of, like, I only have to deal with him occasionally, and he has to be with himself all the time. So it's like, that is fine.
Like,
and
he's an unhappy person, and he takes it out on you because he can tell that you are happy and, like, you're thriving, and he is not.
Yeah, his limp is getting worse.
He's just jealous. It's like when people say they're just jealous, like bullies are jealous of you. They are in some way. They're like, it's a problem. It's a them problem. Don't take it personally. They're awful.
Yeah, and I think I think I want to become less sensitive to that, because it does make me feel resistant to asking for help, because I might have done the wrong sort of ad, and, like, then I probably have the wrong sort of ad, right?
But who cares?
But like, if I were talking to someone who had, I would, and I would want to ask them, like, I want to figure out, like, what what the reason behind that was. They're not like just keep making the same sort of mistake again. Like, or maybe you thought that was a good reason for good for a certain reason. Let's dive into that. Um, yeah, I do think that's a good reminder. Like, I am just too. I think I'm always extending like the like best of intentions, the best of like understanding and knowledge of other people. I always think everyone else is like doing things fantastically and with like
Yes.
everything correct and wanting the best for everyone else and being generous and kind and smart and knows more than me. And that's not always the case. Everyone's like walking around with their own insecurities and their own
Yeah.
like they not even thinking about you.
No.
And
It's
maybe they're
never
not good
about you.
question askers and they're not
No.
good educators. And
No.
that's something I spent a lot of my life working on.
Mm-hmm.
And not everyone has had that opportunity. And
Yeah.
that is sad for them.
Yeah.
I didn't love my former day job, but I'm so glad of like all the education that like teaching skills I learned from that is so valuable. Just trying to
Mm-hmm.
teach anyone anything is incredibly rewarding. And it would be nice if everyone had that skill so I could feel a bit
Yes.
more secure when asking for help.
Yeah, like some people just don't. Like I work with somebody who's so smart. He has like sometimes terrible people skills. Like
Mm,
that's just like he just doesn't see it. It's just he's just not good at particular things.
yeah,
And like sometimes I call him out on it. Sometimes I don't because I think he can't stop. He can't change who he is. So don't
yeah.
take it personally.
I mean, he could, but
Wow.
doesn't want to
Yeah.
apparently.
Yeah. But it definitely don't let if you think this is pushing my buttons,
Mm,
then you also have to take responsibility for that and be like, this is like
yeah, it's on me.
this
But I
is
think I do take responsibility, and it makes me not want to ask anyone for help just in case that's going to happen.
hmm
Um, and yeah, and I just need to toughen up a
like
bit on that
yeah,
front.
like it's okay if somebody's like we all come across awful people all the time.
But
Turn
they're not even awful people. They're often like very nice people,
no,
but they're
yeah,
not very
yeah,
good at
yeah,
that sort of
yeah,
like engagement.
yeah.
Um, yeah, and I
There's
don't want to cry.
yeah,
That's why I'm avoiding it. It's the same as saying me thinking I'll cry, and I'm like, I'm not
yeah.
really crying,
Don't
crying. I'm just this is how my feelings come out.
this is just frustration cry.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, it's just that people. I mean, this all goes back to the same point from before. It's like we're all so different, even though we're all doing the same thing and like swimming down the same river. We're
yeah,
all different fish. So sometimes the communication barrier is just bigger.
yeah,
God, I'm smart.
yeah. You
Uh,
are, and that is a good philosophical endpoint. I feel like
Mhm.
though we could do with both having like a thing I'm going to do better from now on. Like I am going to just cut off my listening of people who are not good explainers
Mhm.
and not let that impact my ability to ask for help from other people. Like
Yeah.
not engage with that because it's taking away too much of my ability to ask for help.
Yeah, I think
What
that
is something
I'm
you're going to do?
going to if I need to ask for help or like when I get to that point where I think, oh, I could really do with some help on this, try and think more around like what actual help is it and how could I word it where it's like I get something very specific
Mm,
for this specific thing rather than something really broad and general just because I've not put enough thought into it myself,
hmm
which is again what all my teachers would say at school. Hasn't put enough thought into it.
It's just your
Yeah.
enthusiasm, like getting out there and be like, oh, I know a problem, I want to fix it. And
Yeah.
then it's like
I've
then it's
not
like
thought
overwhelming, irrelevant answers.
yeah, I've just not thought about actually the thing that I needed. It's
Mm.
like asking like, how do you publish a book? It's like
That's the worst when you see
you
someone do
can't
that on a
ask
forum, you're like,
you
no.
can't ask that question.
Yeah, start with Google and then come back in like a year.
Mm. Yeah. I feel like this has been whether this is what people expected to hear about this episode. I don't
Yeah.
know if this is what I expected this episode to be, but it's felt good. Like I really feel like after today,
Hmm.
like having a real like downer meeting before like or
Yeah.
like chat before the sushi arrived on the table, and then to get to this point now, it's been a real whirlwind of emotions and like
Yeah. It's
a
been a big
lot
day.
of it has been such a big day of just um looking inward a little bit and trying to figure out like where do we fit in all
Mm.
of this and how can we kind of champion ourselves a little bit more. So it feels like
Yeah.
I'm on a cusp.
I feel very cuspy. Yeah. Cuspy sort of feeling today.
It's a cuspy day. Yeah.
Also, we have got some episodes coming up that are much more practical. I think we had like, we could have a good series of like kind of rambly, get some thoughts out episodes, and then we've got some real concrete episodes coming up.
Yes. But before that, we have next week's episode, and we are talking about making contacts in a new genre. So what sort of contacts do we mean by this?
Good question. So I think it can be a lot of things. I think it's worth us thinking as broad as possible because I think you might immediately think of just authors. And that is really useful. Like when you're asking for help and you want to have people ask for help, and it feels difficult when like complete strangers. It feels like starting a new school and just being like walking into a school that everyone else is establishing and like, hello. And it just feels a bit like you don't know where to start. So yeah, figure out like how to just get any sort of relationship with other authors, but also readers. Which I think are important contacts, for wanting to do things like even like looking at other reader accounts and like seeing what they're interested in, what they're engaging with, and thinking about ARC readers. I think there's quite a wide variety. So yeah, it's a slight extension from the ask for help topic. Like, how do we do like a practical engagement with people with a focus on new genres?
Yes, agreed. I think I'll go so far as to say like you could also think about book cover designers for a particular genre that you're going into, or like if you're going to do beta readers or illustrators. There's like so many when you're going into a new genre. There's so many aspects of it that now make up like the product that you're creating. So it's good to know who's doing what and where and how you can kind of get into those circles with them. So yeah, I think it's going to be a good one. I'm looking forward to it.
Me too.
Thank you very much for listening to this episode. And I hope that it made some sense and we haven't put anybody off from offering help in any way. Please still talk to us. This is just us ripping our brains open and showing you what's inside, which is not always pretty. We will talk about this more in Discord, so make sure to jump into Discord and join us for that conversation. I'm sure it'll be great. Discord is just also a very fun place to be, and you can join us for free, or you can pay for the extra tiers where you get access to other stuff. All the information is on our website, on the Ko-fi link, and in Discord itself. All the links are in the show notes. Come and be a part of this insane whirlwind if you aren't already.
Please help us.
Yeah, yes, come and help us, and we will accept the help readily. Thank you very much. We will see you next week. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
You've been listening to Pen to Paycheck Authors.
Stay tuned for our next episode, and don't forget to subscribe to learn how to write your way to financial success.